So over the past week, I've been getting a handful of questions, and a lot of people are asking, what about Social Security? What about SNAP benefits? And what about taxes? What are we going to see, and how are these changes going to impact us and our wallets? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today, because a new bill has actually been passed. Yes, it was passed by the Senate. And no, I am not talking about anything regarding the debt ceiling. This is actually a different bill. I will address what's going on here, but also how Congress is approving of Social Security. They're approving of SNAP benefits, and they are approving of taxes. But why? What is going on, and why is this so important at this time? Well, here's the reason why. We've heard for the past 2 years that nobody, actually more like 3 years, that nobody making less than $400,000 per year would see a penny more in taxes. However, that has not necessarily been true, or at least 100% true. Now, we are actually hearing that there's more relief for Social Security, for SNAP recipients, and for lower income households that is needed. This is something that we have been talking about for the past few years, and now we are starting to hear lawmakers come out and say Social Security recipients need more relief. SNAP benefits, we cannot reduce the benefit, but we can limit the amount of people that actually get it. Somebody making $85,000 per year and is an individual should probably not need SNAP benefits. Again, we're going through all these different scenarios. The lower income households that actually are struggling to work, those people that are on Social Security that cannot go to work for whatever reason, they should be the ones that get the benefit. Well, how do we go about achieving this? This is the real question. And let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. But if you are tired of hearing Congress just talk about options and talk about ideas and want them to actually do what they say, go ahead and hit that like button on this video. But this is where the debt ceiling and this latest bill regarding student loan forgiveness, this is where this comes into play. Because just today, the Senate passed a bill to block President Biden's loan forgiveness program. Yes, this happened today. This means that the Senate is also in agreement with the majority of the House Representatives and Republicans that say, no, we do not need student loan forgiveness. This bill actually passed 52 to 46. It did not have to pass the filibuster. We didn't need the 60 votes. So because of that, and because of 3 Democrats actually voting on the same side with Republicans, this changed everything. But this is actually going to block 43 million people from getting student loan forgiveness. However, I do want to come out and say one thing, that what we do know is that President Biden has already stated that if this bill lands on his desk, he would veto this bill, that he will not sign it. And being that we do not have enough votes in the House or the Senate, I believe you have to have 2/3, okay, in the House of Representatives or the Senate in order to veto the president's veto, okay? So in order to overturn his veto, you have to have 2/3 majority. We would not see that in the House or the Senate. So because of that, this bill likely is not going to pass, or at least get signed by President Biden. Now, here's the reason I bring this up. I bring this up because according to the Congressional Budget Office, they are saying that by stopping the student loan forgiveness, that would actually create reduce our national deficit by $320 billion over 10 years. That may not seem like a lot, being that we're over $31 trillion in debt, but it is. Because again, how does this impact Social Security and SNAP? Well, it's actually quite simple. Republicans have been arguing for quite some time that reducing spending on some of these social spending programs is a must in order to shore up Social Security, in order to provide this benefit of food assistance, right? Nutrition assistance, food stamps, SNAP, EBT, whatever you want to call it. This is something that we have to do. We have to cut spending in certain places so we can take that money and divert it to other more essential programs like Social Security, like SNAP benefits. This is what they're talking about. Because again, people that are having a tough time and they cannot afford food because it's gone up in price and maybe their job isn't there anymore. Maybe they have a few children, whatever it may be. They did not sign up for a tough economic time. Not like people that went to college that actually signed up, took classes to improve their lives. So Republicans are saying, and even Senator Joe Manchin said today, that why should somebody that either couldn't afford to go to college and didn't, or somebody that went to college and paid off their debts, why should they be saddled with this debt of 43 million student borrowers? He says they shouldn't. That should be on those people that took out those loans. Now, we know that Social Security recipients have less than 10 years of receiving their full benefit each month before we see cuts. And that is why at some point we have to see some type of Social Security reform. This is why many lawmakers are using the debt ceiling and now the student loan forgiveness and this payment pause. That's why they're using that to potentially find a solution for Social Security, but also tax credits. Think about this for a second. If we see student loan forgiveness go through, which at this time the expectation is that it won't, but if we see it go through, what we do know is that it's going to cost the U.S. government another $400 billion. But by blocking this measure, it will reduce the deficit by $320 billion. That's over a $700 billion swing in just 10 years. That's why, okay, this $700 billion, we could use this. We could use this for other things. Social Security. We could reduce our deficit. We could use this for so many other purposes. But then you factor in taxes and taxing every single American. Not just the wealthy, not just people making more than $400,000 per year, not just large corporations, but you factor in taxing every single American. This is where, according to experts, we start to see some real measurable changes. Now, Congress isn't talking about raising the tax rate on every single person out there, although they'd probably like to, or the majority would like to, and then they can go and give them that money back. Right? You tax everybody, and then you give a small percentage of the population, you give them this bonus, this benefit. Democrats would love that. But what they're talking about now is actually raising the Social Security tax cap to around $250,000. So forget what President Biden promised of nobody making less than $400,000 per year, see a penny more in taxes. Forget that. In order to accomplish the goal of ensuring that Social Security remains solvent for the next 75 years, we need to increase taxes. We need to reduce expenses. We have to do both, not just one, both. Now, in order to accomplish this, Democrats would actually need to provide something to Republicans so that they could support this. And what lawmakers are discussing right now is the possibility of extending the 2017 Trump tax cuts. And I bring this up because of one main reason. When does the debt ceiling bill, when does this debt ceiling suspension, when does this end? It's on January 1st, 2025. Do you know when the 2017 Trump tax cuts end? Yeah, 2025. So they end the exact same time. So again, Congress is already approving of legislation to shore up Social Security and keep lower income earners fed. But as to how they go about this, how they put together the next bill, that's the real question. And all of this honestly comes down to the economic impact of the new debt ceiling bill, and also how much money how much the economy struggles as the Fed continues to weigh additional rate increases to end 2023. But again, it comes down to money. It comes down to our finances. It comes down to what we are looking like as an economy. Again, this new bill was just passed by the Senate. Congress approves of doing things like this and stopping some spending because we have to shore up Social Security. We have to fix SNAP. We have to make sure that we are good to go in the future, not just today. So I promise I'll fill you in on everything that's going on as soon as we get more information, but that is what we know at this time. So as always, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I will see you guys on the next one.